In case you missed it, reports state, prosecutors have updated the evidence against YNW Melly. He was unaware he was being filmed admitting to the murders of YNW Sackchaser and YNW Juvie. This is likely to end badly for him. Just 5 hours after the killings, Melly was caught on video dancing in a parking lot with YNW Bortlen, acting as if nothing had happened.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
Showing not even a hint of grief over the loss of their two closest friends, Melly appeared completely unfazed. But what he didn't know was that he had been caught on camera yet again, this time just 30 minutes before the murders. Surveillance footage shows YNW Melly leaving the studio and getting into the back left seat of the Jeep, where he remained for half an hour, waiting for Sackchaser, Juvie, and Bortlen to join him.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes? All right.
This is a key piece of evidence against Melly, as official court documents state. The trajectory of the bullets, traveling from left to right inside the vehicle, supports the assertion that the shots were fired from the back left seat where YNW Melly was seated. To strengthen their case, prosecutors even called YNW Juvie's mother to the stand to confirm the seating arrangement in the Jeep that night.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
I'm Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right-hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
As prosecutors reorganize the evidence for presentation to a new judge, they've also put together what many are calling an insurance plan to ensure YNW Melly is found guilty in the upcoming trial. The situation has raised serious concerns, with many pointing to the Florida court system as potentially corrupt. Here's why. The state reportedly struck deals with both YNW Bortlen and Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton. Mariah had been hiding outside the U.S. since before Melly's first trial and was considered a fugitive after failing to appear and testify last September. She was wanted by U.S. authorities at the time, yet now appears to be cooperating under new terms.
Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
After returning to the U.S., Mariah Hamilton agreed to a deal with the judge. If she testified against YNW Melly, she wouldn't have to remain in jail while awaiting trial. She accepted immediately, reportedly struggling with her time behind bars. This development is a major blow to Melly's defense, especially since Mariah confirmed the agreement in a Facebook post, writing, "Thank you to my village, I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." What makes this situation even more serious is what prosecutors discovered in Mariah's iCloud account messages showing that Melly allegedly pressured her not to testify and even paid for her to leave the country ahead of his original trial. This amounts to witness tampering, a federal offense that can carry a life sentence on its own regardless of whether Melly is ultimately convicted of the murders of Sackchaser and Juvie.
6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering charge will be handled separately from Melly's current case involving the deaths of Juvie and Sackchaser. Federal authorities reportedly already have all the evidence they need, including proof that Melly attempted to influence witnesses using monitored jail phone calls. In fact, things got so serious that Melly has been banned from using the jail phone system for several months. The situation drew so much attention that his mother even gave a public interview, calling out the county jail for completely cutting off his phone access.
Has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
If the evidence is accurate that YNW Melly used jail phones to commit witness tampering by instructing Mariah to leave the United States, then it makes sense why he's been banned from phone access. Authorities wouldn't take such a drastic step. Based on speculation alone, doing so without solid proof could spark a major lawsuit. So, it's likely they've already secured and stored concrete evidence, but here's where things take a darker turn. It's not just the tampering that could seal Melly's fate, it's what YNW Portland might do next that could ultimately land Melly behind bars for life. What many people don't realize is that during Melly's original trial, his own legal team attempted to shift the blame onto Portland for the murders.
His lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. And you don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, a car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he has discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
Those were his lies. When Cortland Henry arrived at Memorial Hospital Miramar, you didn't see him waiting in the lobby, you saw him in the driver's seat of a car riddled with bullets and containing two bodies. He showed up wearing a different shirt than earlier that night and had gunpowder residue on his hands, clear evidence he had discharged a firearm. And then, he started lying. He lied about where the shooting happened, how it happened, and even claimed he didn't have a phone. But as Ms. Bradley pointed out, everyone has a phone in their pocket except, apparently, Cortland Henry.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of residue and two component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was residue present on the hands.
As that is Melly's lawyer revealing it was always YW Portland that was lying to the feds, and that Portland was the one with powder residue on his hands, meaning he used a firearm, while also mentioning he was the last person with Juvian Sackchaser when they passed away. They even went as far as to bringing up a forensic scientist that covered the passings to go into further detail about Portland having the powder residue.
And you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
YNW Portland didn't take kindly to being thrown under the bus. That's why, on the same day YNW Melly's mistrial was declared, Portland posted a cryptic tweet that raised eyebrows. "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji, almost as if he was signaling he had made some kind of deal. Since that day, Portland has stayed completely silent, disappearing from the public eye, but here's where things get really intense. Prosecutors are now preparing to have Portland testify against Melly in the upcoming retrial. In fact, they've already started filing paperwork to have both of them tried together. It's a bold legal move, and one that could change the entire outcome of the case.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked, ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car. And I almost crashed.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Yeah.
Then you took 75.
It's just common sense if Bortland knows he didn't commit the murders. There's no way he's going to sit back and quietly take a life sentence. That makes it highly likely he'll eventually point the finger and tell the truth to save himself. And if Bortland is tried alongside Melly, prosecutors gain a major advantage. They can use Bortland's own recorded police interrogation from the night of the murders, where he's clearly—
The hard part, where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area, and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's like...
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my like,
these your two, I'm assuming, close friends.
Yeah, we got.
And you're doing them an in-service by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like how. What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
As it's clear to the officers, Borland's story is not adding up to anything. Moreland, however, is trying to stay confident about his story, trying to make it seem realistic, but he would just be caught up in his lie.
The story, and that's it, bro. I don't even talk about it anymore. Like, cause I told y'all, like, I don't know, like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. And we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.